Why narcissists fear the silent type. The observer's shield. There is a specific moment every narcissist dreads. It is not a confrontation. It is not an argument. It is not someone exposing them in public or calling them out in front of a crowd. It is the moment they realize the person across from them is not reacting. No defensiveness. No visible hurt. No urgency to explain, justify, or win. Just stillness. Just watching. Just a calm, quiet presence that refuses to give them what they came for. That moment, that absence of reaction, is the most threatening thing a narcissist can encounter. And today, we decode exactly why. Because if you have ever dealt with a narcissist, a manipulative coworker, a controlling partner, a family member who always makes everything about them, understanding this dynamic is not just interesting. It is protection. This is the observer's shield. To understand why the silent type is dangerous to a narcissist, you first need to understand what a narcissist actually runs on. Narcissistic personality disorder, and the broader spectrum of narcissistic behavior that falls short of clinical diagnosis, is fundamentally a disorder of supply. Psychologists call it narcissistic supply, the constant stream of attention, reaction, validation, and emotional response that the narcissistic personality requires to maintain its sense of self. Without supply, the narcissistic self-structure begins to collapse. The grandiosity fades. The anxiety surfaces. The carefully constructed image of superiority starts to crack. This is why everything a narcissist does is designed, consciously or not, to generate a reaction. The provocation, the silent treatment, the sudden rage, the unexpected charm, the victimhood, the love bombing. Every behavior is a mechanism for extraction, pulling emotional energy from the people around them to fuel a self that cannot generate its own stability. They are not just difficult people. They are emotional predators operating on a very specific hunting pattern. And that pattern has one critical vulnerability. It requires a target that responds. Here is the mechanism most people never see until it is too late. Narcissists are extraordinarily skilled at reading emotional availability. Before they invest significant energy in a target, they test. Small provocations. Subtle boundary violations. A comment designed to sting just enough to produce a visible reaction. If you react, if you defend yourself, show hurt, argue back, or even just visibly register the comment, you have just told them something important. You have told them that you are available, that your emotional state can be influenced from the outside, that there is supply here worth extracting. The game begins. But the natural observer does something that disrupts this entire sequence at the source. They notice the test. They recognize the provocation for what it is, not because they are paranoid, but because they are paying attention at a level the narcissist does not expect. And instead of reacting, they file it. They store the data. They update their internal model of who they are dealing with. From the outside, this looks like nothing happened. No reaction. No engagement. No supply. From the inside, everything has changed. The observer now knows exactly who they are in the room with. Let's decode the specific tactics narcissists use and the silent counter to each one. The first tactic is provocation through devaluation. The narcissist diminishes you. Subtly at first. A dismissive comment about your idea in a meeting. A backhanded compliment that plants a seed of self-doubt. A comparison to someone else designed to make you feel inadequate. The expected response is defensiveness, over-explanation, or the quiet performance of trying harder to earn approval. Any of these responses give the narcissist two things: confirmation that the hook landed and a new baseline for escalation. The silent counter, zero visible registration. Not cold hostility, that is still a reaction and still gives supply. Pure neutrality. You heard the comment. You processed it. You chose not to feed it. Internally, you noted it as data. Externally, you gave nothing. The devaluation that produces no reaction loses its function. The narcissist has to recalibrate, escalate, or move to a different target. All three outcomes are favorable to you. The second tactic is manufactured urgency. Narcissists create crises. Not always dramatic ones, often small, persistent ones that keep you in a constant state of emotional responsiveness. An unexpected demand. A sudden problem that only you can solve. A conflict that erupts at a carefully chosen moment to destabilize your focus. The function is control through activation. While you are reactive, you are not thinking clearly. While you are managing their crisis, you are not managing your own direction. While your nervous system is in alert mode, they are in control of the frequency. The silent counter is to slow down deliberately, to pause before responding, to ask, out loud or internally, is this actually urgent, or does it feel urgent because I have been trained to treat it that way? The observer does not match the narcissist's emotional frequency. They maintain their own. This single practice, refusing to synchronize to manufactured urgency, is one of the most disruptive things you can do to a narcissistic dynamic. The third tactic is the charm offensive. Not all narcissistic behavior is aggressive. Some of it is disarmingly warm. The sudden generosity after a period of coldness. The genuine seeming interest in your problems. The version of them that makes you question whether your concerns were real. This is not a different person. This is the same extraction mechanism running a different program. The charm offensive is deployed when devaluation and urgency have produced diminishing returns, when the target is pulling away and the supply line is at risk. The silent counter here requires the most discipline, because this is the version that feels good. The observer does not reward the cycle by re-engaging fully when the warmth arrives. They observe it. They appreciate it as a behavior, not as truth. They remain warm but grounded, present but not recaptured. They remember what they saw before the charm arrived. The fourth tactic is the public performance. Narcissists are acutely aware of social perception. When a target begins to disengage, a common escalation is the public test. The comment made in front of others designed to pressure you into a reaction, the story that positions them favorably and you unfavorably, the display of status or connection meant to trigger insecurity. The function is triangulation, using the social environment as leverage to destabilize your self-assurance and pull you back into the dynamic. The silent counter is the most powerful one, sustained indifference to their social performance. Not contempt. Contempt is still engagement. Simple, unshakable disinterest in how they appear to others. The observer does not compete in that theater. They are not playing for the same audience. And when you stop caring about the performance, you become completely immune to it. The narcissist cannot weaponize a social environment against someone who is not trying to win anything in it. Here is what nobody tells you about dealing with narcissists. The most common advice is to go no contact, set firm boundaries, and protect yourself emotionally. All of that is valid. All of it matters. But there is a layer underneath that advice that rarely gets discussed. And it is this. The reason narcissists are so effective is not because they are uniquely powerful. It is because most people are not paying attention at the right level. They react before they observe. They engage before they assess. They give supply before they understand what supply actually is and what it does. The natural observer does not make that mistake. Not because they are cold or calculating, but because their default mode is awareness before action. Observation before response. Understanding before engagement. This is not a strategy you adopt when you suspect someone is a narcissist. It is a way of moving through all social environments that happens to make you nearly immune to the specific mechanics of narcissistic manipulation. The shield was never something you had to build. It was always part of how you already operate. You just needed to know what it was called. If you have found yourself in a dynamic that drained you, confused you, or made you question your own perception, know this: that confusion was not weakness. It was the result of engaging honestly with someone who was not being honest with you. The observer's advantage is not that they never get caught in these dynamics. It is that they learn to see them faster. to name them sooner, to detach without drama and without guilt. Silence is not passivity. It is the highest form of strategic control. And the narcissist, who depends entirely on your reaction, has no move against a person who simply chooses not to give them one. Subscribe, because every week we go deeper into the behavioral patterns that most people navigate blindly. The defenses that work. The code underneath the dynamics that shape your relationships, your environment, and your sense of self. The observer sees what others miss. And what you have seen today, you cannot unsee. That is the observer's shield.